NFL's Final Four conference championship games on Sunday. Let's make opening statements on each team. Jeff Saturday, give me an opening statement for the New England Patriots.
Protect the rock. If you think about what Houston was able to do against Drake May, too many strips, too many sacks, they have to protect Drake May and protect the football. This is a massive ask of that Denver Broncos defense. They like to pressure you, especially on the edge. Will Campbell, the last few times, he has had his hands full. He's got to play good for this football team. If they protect the ball, they'll win the game, but that's a massive ask against this defense.
Struggles for the left tackle. Peter Schrager, opening statement for the Denver Broncos.
His name is Jarrett Stidham, but they call him Stiddy in the building. That is his nickname, Stiddy. Get rid of Jarrett Stidham on the bottom line. I want to see Stiddy is not your average backup. This is a guy who's been backing up there in Denver, Russell Wilson, and then 2 years of Bo Nix for 3 years. It is now his moment. Is he an average Joe or is he Stiddy?
Stiddy boy.
We're going to find out on Sunday. Kmart to the NFC game. Opening statement, LA Rams.
Greeny, forget number one defense versus the number one offense. I'm looking at special teams. I need the Rams to play well on special teams because if they allow Rashid Shaheed to do what he did last weekend, they are in trouble. Hembo sent me the stat. Seattle, best special teams unit. Rams, 29th.
Yep. And remember, they fired their special teams coach during the season. And then, Nick, that leaves us with the Seahawks. What's your opening statement for Seattle?
Yeah, this is Sam Darnold's biggest opportunity to redefine himself in his career. It's against the perfect team. It's the team that we said was his kryptonite. He got a win against them the second time they played, but it wasn't because he was awesome. He made some great plays at the end of that game, but he struggled for much of that game. So he has an opportunity going against this Rams defense in the biggest game of his life to have us remember him differently than I think we think of him right now.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to dive deep on both these games as the morning continues. But the coaching carousel is next, and our stop is right here in New York, where John Harbaugh, as we know, has found his new coaching home. The Giants introduced him in front of a fawning group of applauding people yesterday. Harbaugh introduced as the 21st head coach in the team's storied history, the 5th they've hired since Tom Coughlin. The previous 4 combined for 8 losing seasons and 1 playoff win. Harbaugh was asked, that's not awkward. Harbaugh was asked about his new quarterback, Jaxson Dart, on the heels of his rookie season. Here's what the new coach said.
The quarterback's kind of important. You know, that's kind of a big deal. I'm excited about Jaxson Dart. I like his talent, skill set, all the things he's accomplished, but more than that, I like who he is and what he's about. To me, he's about football. I mean, this young guy loves football. He wants to talk football all the time, and that's kind of what I like doing too. So I think we're gonna have a lot of great conversations. I can't wait to get started with him.
All right, there's a million different ways to sort of attack this thing. Let's start with this. They use the term winning the press conference. He won the press conference.
Media loves that, and he knocked it out the park yesterday. He talked about, I think, we were waiting for this deal to kind of get done for a long time, and it felt like, what's going on? What's the holdup? Now that it is done, inside that building, the Giants feel like, finally, we have a football man. We have a collaborator. We have a guy who has a clear vision for this team. I spoke to one person in the building who said, Harbs, you can tell he has this sort of instant credibility with the young guys, which is clear and very important when you have a young quarterback in Jaxson Dart. So, yeah, now they feel like they've got their guy. The real question is, who's going to be calling the offense, who's going to be calling the defense, because that will set the tone.
Schrager, pick it up from there.
So Todd Monken who was with him in Baltimore, still a very big lead candidate for that job. However, Monken is still in the mix. He interviewed yesterday to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. If Todd Monken, at his age, has an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL, he's taking that. If he doesn't get that opportunity, I would imagine he would be the offensive coordinator. Other than that, there are other names being mentioned. There are still guys that were on the staff last year on the defensive side that could be mentioned. And, of course, you have all of those Baltimore assistants, whether it be Zach or some others that have been on staff there that could join him here in New York. To Kimberly's point, one of the things that they loved hearing yesterday, New York Football Giants. You know, things like this is the team that is the first franchise. And he gave a little information, say, hey, there's 5 others that were in Ohio, but they're not here. I'm an Ohio guy, but now I'm a New York guy. Harbaugh played it perfectly with the media. And what was interesting was a lot of the young players were in the back of that room, and he was addressing them. A lot of that applause you were hearing was from the players, not necessarily the media clapping for John Harbaugh, which they were not. Fascinating how good it is right now. But to your point, All right, who's coming with you? Because we need to know who's actually calling the shots.
Yeah. Everything's always great till the games start, and then we'll see what happens. But I'm going to let me try and sell you guys on something, okay? So I've been sitting back, I've been looking at what we've seen what you wonder, why do teams fire coaches so quickly? Well, I mean, look what the turnaround they've had in Chicago, the turnaround they've had in Jacksonville, the turnaround they've had in New England. Sometimes you're just the right coach away from really good things happening. And New England is the very specific example I want to use. The Patriots had some good young talent, and they had a good young quarterback coming off a rookie year. And I want you to look at the numbers. For what you're seeing there on the left are Drake May's rookie season numbers, and on the right are Jaxson Dart's rookie season numbers. They are eerily similar, stunningly similar. I think that the Giants might actually have more good talent around Dart than the Patriots had at a similar point last year. They bring in a veteran, established leader of a coach in John Harbaugh, as the Patriots did with Mike Vrabel. I guess what I'm trying to say is, could the New York Giants next year be what the New England Patriots are right now?
Absolutely. However, I wish that life was as simple as that graphic you just put up. Because they got to spend a ton of money in free agency. They also got to find someone to coach the quarterback. Like, those are things that came along with Vrabel. It wasn't just the young quarterback who was promising, who didn't know how to protect himself, which matches up with Jaxson Dart. It was also that he brought in someone that he knew could help develop the quarterback, and they spent a ton of money to improve that defense, from Milton Williams to Carlton Davis. Like, the things around you matter. And I agree that right now with that defensive line, the Giants have some foundation. Neighbors get healthy. You have that. You have the quarterback. You have cornerstone at left tackle. They have all the pieces that they need to take that leap. But you got to be aggressive in free agency, and you have to find the right people to lead the offense and the defense.
I fully agree. I think to Kmart's point about and Peter's point about the players in the background, believing that your coach can take you where you want to go matters. They obviously feel that, right? A young player, you go, man, if I do what he says, he's won a Super Bowl, he's had, if you're Jaxson Dart, he's had a, multi-time MVP as a quarterback, he's had one of the best defense, he's had an insanely good offense, he's done all of it, he's checked every box. So as a player, you're encouraged the same way that Mike Vrabel walked in New England. But to your point, they spent a boat ton of money to make sure that it happened. They're going to have to do that. Do they go get a bunch of players coming out of Baltimore in free agency, right? Guys who know Harbaugh's system and knows what he wants. But the guy who's directing, the Josh McDaniels fit with Drake May, it was the most vital pick that Vrabel made. And I love Vrabel. Make no mistake, that dude worked with Tom Brady and understood like similarities and qualities they made. But that's what Todd Monken or whoever takes that job is going to have to figure out. What can we get from Jaxson Dart?
I would add that there's a good sign here. So the Giants have not always been the most proactive franchise.
Yes.
They were so aggressive in this, and they were so proactive, and Chris Mara deserves a lot of credit. He's the one who went down to Baltimore to go recruit John Harbaugh.
Who told him to go?
Tom Coughlin told him,
said,
get on your horse
butt down
and go
to
down there.
Baltimore. Yep.
And horse is important because he is a horseman. That said, Chris Mara showing that they're being proactive. I wonder if that now bleeds into free agency. And hey, we can't just sit on our hands. We got Harbaugh. What are we going to do? One name to watch. Tyler Linderbaum was the center in Baltimore. Good relationship with Harbaugh. He might be on the free agent market and someone they want to focus on.
Can I say one more thing about the reason why a coach like Harbaugh is important and a coach like Vrabel is important? I know we always say that you want to get an offensive-minded head coach to be with the quarterback, but no. You want a head coach to head coach. You'd be much better to have an offensive-minded guy who doesn't have to worry about working the media, doesn't have to worry about the special teams, doesn't have to worry about defense, worries about getting the quarterback right. You have a head coach to lead, a head coach with so much credibility. You don't think that the Giants, even without the Super Bowl, you don't think the Giants look down at Baltimore, all those young players, you don't think that Jaxson Dart is like, oh, you can make me play like Lamar?
Absolutely.
You don't think that team is like, oh, you can get us to the divisional round?
Right.
Like, that feels good. That guy has
Absolutely.
shown that he's done it, and he's walked in with that credibility. He wants to connect. When I signed with him, he was looking for ways, and we had our first meeting, he was looking for ways to connect. He looked at my phone, and it had a picture of the globe on it, and so he started talking, oh, you must be a worldly guy. When started asking me about issues about the world in general. And I was like, no, it just came on the phone.
Like the default setting.
But it was like, it was a genuine,
He's
like,
trying.
he's doing that. I'm sure he went to Jaxson Dart, and I could guess what Jaxson Dart's wallpaper is on his. I think it's probably a little bit more interesting than mine.
Football.
But I guarantee you,
Hey, let me
Harbaugh,
So they said that there was an hour meeting between the two, and they had to actually cut them short when he was in the building.
They're going to be all right,
And Harbaugh said Jaxson Dart had him ready to run through a wall, not the other way around.
Yeah. Harbaugh.
That was a lie, but that's the right lie to say.
They ain't gonna lack for talk. But the other part about the Giants is paying the assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a massive. What are you willing to do? Like if you're the Giants organization, the same way that Robert Kraft and stuff, you better print it because those assistant coaches need to be compensated well.
Right.
That's how you get the best out of your players.
All right, so the Giants have their man, Buffalo and Baltimore. Lamar and Josh still